Wow, stories.
Am I the idiot for calling off my wedding after discovering my fiancé's abusive past? I have no idea what to do or think. My fiancé, 32-year-old, and I, 24-year-old, have been engaged for a month and together for almost 3 years. He has been very open about his past marriage and divorce with me. He told me they married really young, they were together since high school, and that it just didn't work out, but there were no hard feelings. They were married for 4 years and have been divorced for longer than that. I always accepted this as true because I had no reason to believe he was lying. The divorce seemed amicable. I wasn't there, but I know that they split everything pretty evenly. And money is not a problem for either of them. And he and her even still talk occasionally. The timeline all matched up. They wish each other happy birthdays and Merry Christmas. I never saw a problem with this. Everything seemed fine. Just an unfortunate situation of bad timing or married too young. Well, last month when we got engaged, I obviously posted some pics. So did my best friend who took pics for us. I was and am so excited. Within 2 days, I had a message request from her. My socials are private and she doesn't follow me. I previewed the message and it just said, "Hi, can we talk?" I accepted and said yes. She replied with a lengthy message about having seen my posts about getting engaged through his brother, and that she just wanted to let me know because she felt that it was the only right thing she could do. I asked her what was going on, and she explained to me that their marriage ended partly due to getting married so young and being two different people, but mostly because during one of the last arguments, my fiancé punched her in the face after having shoved her around. I didn't believe her because he has never ever acted even slightly like that towards me, or anyone I know or have seen. I didn't reply for a while, and she sent me a follow-up text saying she could send a pic if I wanted it. I said yes. She did send me a screenshot of a picture in her camera roll, the date circled. It was right around the time they split, according to him. Her face jaw was clearly bruised and she was crying. I didn't know what to say or think, so I just apologized for some reason. I said, "I'm sorry, I just can't do this right now." She said it's okay, she just hopes I use the info accordingly. I have no idea what to do. I asked my fiancé about it right after, and he was very angry. He said she was lying, the pic was edited, and that he would never do something like that. He showed me clearly how the divorce was stated as irreconcilable differences and nothing else. He told me if he had hit her, it all would have been very different, and he wouldn't be able to hide that. He told me to think logically. I ended up just telling him I believed him, and I believe that she is lying. He was so relieved and told me so many times he would never do something like that. I want to believe him so bad, but I don't know what to think. What do I even do? What do I even believe? If he really did do this, why does she keep in contact? But what does she gain from lying? I don't know. I'm so lost. Please help. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. My first husband got violent and we divorced. Within a couple of years, he was engaged to someone else and hadn't known her for long. He could be very charming when he wanted to be. I felt I had to warn her and figured she wouldn't believe me, but I did it because I cared more about her safety than I cared about being believed. She didn't believe me. After they had been married for a year, she called me and apologized for not believing me because he hit her. She never left him, though. Strange choices people make, but my conscience was clear. Comment 2. He showed me clearly how the divorce was stated as irreconcilable differences and nothing else. He told me if he had hit her, it all would have been very different, and he wouldn't be able to hide that. Not sure what basis he's using for this, but it's complete nonsense. He told me to think logically. I'm guessing the way those words came out was also pretty aggressive. He might wind up proving her honesty based on his reaction to this whole situation. Hopefully it doesn't end with you getting matching injuries with her. Now, for the update. Thanks for reading my last post. 3 months have passed since that message from his ex-wife, and things have been very eventful. I decided to put the whole thing behind me and focus on our upcoming wedding. We started planning the details, booking venues, and sending out invitations. Everything seemed to be going smoothly, but I couldn't shake the nagging feeling in the back of my mind about what she had said. One evening, while we were going over the guest list, I noticed that his ex-wife was on it. I asked him why she was invited, and he said it was because they were still friends and he didn't want to exclude her. This made me uncomfortable, but I didn't want to cause any more tension, so I let it go. A few weeks later, I was at a coffee shop with my best friend, and she brought up the message from his ex-wife. She said she had been thinking about it and suggested that I reach out to her again to get more information. I was hesitant, but I agreed. I sent her a message asking if we could meet in person to talk. She agreed, and we set a date for the following week. When we met, she seemed genuinely concerned for me. She told me more about their relationship and how things had started to go downhill. She said that the abuse had started gradually, with him getting angry and yelling, then pushing and shoving, and finally, the incident where he punched her. She showed me more pictures and even some old text messages where he had apologized for his behavior. I was devastated. I didn't know what to believe. I went home and confronted him again, showing him the new evidence. He got even angrier this time, accusing her of trying to ruin our relationship. He said the pictures and messages were fake and that she was just trying to get back at him for moving on. I didn't know what to think, but I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. As the wedding date approached, I started to notice some changes in his behavior. He became more controlling, questioning where I was going and who I was with. He would get angry over small things and then apologize, saying he was just stressed about the wedding. I tried to brush it off, but the doubts kept creeping in. One night, we had a huge argument about something trivial, and he grabbed my arm tightly, leaving a bruise. I was shocked and scared. He immediately apologized, saying he didn't mean to hurt me, and that he was just stressed. I didn't know what to do. I loved him, but I couldn't ignore the signs anymore. I decided to take a break and stay with my best friend for a few days. I needed time to think and figure out what to do. While I was there, I did some more digging into his past. I found out that he had been in trouble with the law before for a bar fight, something he had never mentioned to me. This made me even more suspicious. I reached out to his ex-wife again, and she told me that she had tried to press charges after the incident, but he had convinced her to drop them, promising to get help and change. She said she had believed him at the time, but he never followed through. This was the final straw for me. I decided to call off the wedding. When I told him, he was furious. He yelled and screamed, calling me names and accusing me of betraying him. I was terrified, but I stood my ground. I packed my things and left, staying with my best friend until I could find a new place. The fallout from this decision has been immense. My family and friends have been supportive, but it's been hard to explain everything to them. Some people have taken his side, believing his version of events. It's been emotionally draining, and I've had to cut ties with some people who I thought were my friends. I've also had to deal with the financial consequences of canceling the wedding. We've lost deposits on the venue, the caterer, and other vendors. It's been a huge financial burden, and I'm struggling to make ends meet. Looking back, I realized that there were red flags all along that I ignored because I wanted to believe in him and our relationship. I wanted to believe that he had changed and that we could have a happy future together. But now I see that I was blinded by love and ignored the warning signs. I've started going to therapy to help me process everything and rebuild my life. It's been a slow and painful process, but I'm starting to feel stronger and more confident in my decision. I've also reconnected with some old friends who have been a great support system for me. One thing that has come up in therapy is my own history and how it has influenced my decisions. Growing up, my parents had a tumultuous relationship, with my dad being controlling and sometimes hurtful towards my mom. I think I subconsciously sought out a similar dynamic in my own relationships, thinking it was normal. My therapist has helped me see that I deserve better and that I need to break the cycle of abuse. It's been a hard lesson to learn, but I'm committed to making better choices for myself in the future.